Avionics are off. Car seat that we have is off. Throttle goes to slight. Brakes are set. Prop clear! Master on. Beacon on. Fuel pump on. Mixture goes to full rich. Time is required and mag start. Alright guys, so all that stuff I just showed you was the lead up to putting the engine on. Hey guys, my name is Chloe and I'm a private pilot, and today I wanted to show you a little bit more about what it takes to get to a point of taking off an aircraft, as I usually just show myself flying, but for those of you who don't fly, I wanted to show what it takes to get to that point of taking off. And you pilots that are watching, you already know the deal, but I thought people would be curious about this process. Yeah, before I put the engine on, you're able to hear me talk, but obviously when that prop starts going, when I put that headset on, it's a wrap. Yeah, so what I'm doing here is I am setting the GPS to go to Gainesville. I'm in St. Augustine and I was trying to go to Gainesville today. That didn't happen. I'll explain why in a moment. But yeah, I'm setting the GPS up. And then I was listening to the weather here in St. Augustine on 119.625. So that weather is called the ATIS, the Automated Terminal Information Service, and it is given fresh every hour and coded by hour with the phonetic alphabet. So it could be like Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, whatever it is. Once you get that weather, you'll let the ground controller know that you have the current weather by telling them, for example, like today I had Mike. You tell them you have information Mike, and they know that you have the current weather, which gives you a lot of things like the altimeter setting, what the winds are. And right here what I'm doing is just setting the heading indicator to compass. That has nothing to do with the weather, by the way, but just telling you what I'm doing. What else? Bringing the RPMs down to about 1,000. Let's see. I make sure that I'm only at 1,000 RPMs when I'm just sitting there on the ramp, which a ramp, by the way, is like a parking lot for planes, because I don't want to be running the engine such high RPMs. Just sitting there. Good practice. Okay, I'm getting taxi instructions here from a ground controller, letting him know I want VFR to the southwest, out to Gainesville, and now I'm going to taxi over to the active runway 31. And then as I'm taxiing, I'm looking to make sure that certain gauges are accurate, and like for example, attitude indicator indicates no more than 5 degrees of bank. Turn indicator shows that the wing is going in the direction of turn, ball goes in the opposite direction. Heading indicator is reasonably normal. I was saying reasonably because the heading indicator processes. This heading indicator processes a lot. This one it'll go off like 30 degrees in like 10 minutes. I think I'm over exaggerating, but actually maybe not, because it really does process like a son of a bitch. But so yeah, I'm just taxiing over to my runway. They have me taxiing on 24 and then make a right on Bravo to do something called a run up. At this point, by the way, I am looking at the sky and it does not look as forecasted. The cloud layer looked really, really low And I needed the cloud layer to be at least what it was forecasted, which it was forecasted scattered 3,000, because I was gonna fly over there 4,500 feet. But it was way lower. I asked the ground controller, like, what is the altitude of that lowest layer? He said 1,000 feet. I was like, oh, hell no. And then the person who just landed said it was actually more like 1,500. And I'm like, awesome. I'm going to go. I want to get up there. I want to see for myself what it is. Because there's really no way to tell completely the full story on the ground. Like, I noticed that it can look bad on the ground. You get up there and it's good. And then it can look good on the ground or acceptable, and you get up there and you're like, oh crap, no. And that's what I wanted to look for. So when the guy said it was 1,500 feet, I'm like, I'm gonna go check it out, and at least get up and do a lap around the pattern. And that's what I did. So now I'm doing a run up, which is basically like testing, not like it is testing the flight controls. There I go, testing the flight controls, making sure they're free and correct. I was very testy with the flight controls today. The CFI I had for private would have choked me. You're like, what the fuck? Stop it. Stop it. He didn't like when I tested any direction more than one time. Drive him nuts. We flew so many hours together. I think that we were just getting on each other's nerves at the very end there. But I absolutely love my CFI for my private. Just brother and sister vibes at the end there. Like, you are getting on my last nerve. Oh God. When every single thing someone does is just irritating because you just spent too much time with them. All right, testing of the engine by bringing the RPMs up to 2,000. My feet are on the brakes. I just tested the magnetos, make sure there's no more 175 RPM drop on either magneto, no more than 50 between them. Made sure all the gauges are normal. I brought the engine idle, make sure it runs at idle. And now I am just saying out loud what I would tell a passenger, which is that if something unusual were to happen before rotation, before takeoff, I'll take power out and taxi up the runway. In the event of an engine failure after rotation, after takeoff, with suitable runway left, I'll nose the airplane down, take power out, taxi up the runway. In the event of an engine failure at an unsafe altitude, I will land out straight ahead. In the event of an engine failure at 1,000 feet or greater, I'll turn back around and land on the runway. Flap 0 to 25, fuel pump goes on. And I put on the landing light over here. Even though my CFI for my private told me it was rude to put the landing light on before being cleared for takeoff. He said it would be annoying and rude to do that, but the checklist says to do it at the run up, so I'm being rude lately because he's not around to, be the moral police. I think I told Tower, I don't know what point I talked to Tower. I told Tower, I don't know if I'm going to do my cross country. I just want to go up and see first what it looks like. Yeah. So, holding short. It is the hottest days when you are holding short the longest. That is that should be in the far aim. Whensoever it is over 90 degrees, you will hold short for at least 15 minutes. Minimum. There's always 5 people on the pattern when it's the hottest, is what I'm saying. You're just dripping with sweat and just will I ever, you forget even what am I doing here? Oh yeah, I'm about to take off. It's so hot, so hot. All right, so I'm getting on my runway. I'm gonna line up on that center line, make sure nobody is on final, even though they shouldn't be, but just making sure. Okay. Putting full power to throttle. Checking, make sure the tachometer is normal. Everything is in the green. Everything looks normal. Watching that airspeed come alive. And watch this takeoff, you guys. It's so beautiful. Watch this plane take off. Once I get to 60 knots, I'm going to go ahead and rotate. Oh my God. What a beautiful, beautiful takeoff. This is, you hear people say that's a good flying airplane. Those words just came out of my mouth after I flew this plane the first time. This is a good flying airplane. It wants to take off. It was born to take off and fly. This plane reminds me of, I've been painting for 26 years. I'm also a visual artist. I'm a fine artist, and I've been painting seriously for all that time. This plane reminds me of an excellent paintbrush. An excellent paintbrush wants to paint. This plane wants to take off. It wants to fly. It's beautiful. I love this plane. So, taking off, looking out, going, okay, yeah, Southwest looks really, really bad. Like, it didn't just look... It looked worse than it did on the ground, and it also looked like it was building fast. Very, very fast. So I said, no, I'm going to go around the pattern once. I had a mind to, like, stay in the pattern. I'm like, are you really going to stay in the pattern? Like, you need money for cross country. You need money to eat. You need money to live. Like, do not stay in the freaking pattern because you have a flying addiction. You know, when you have to, like, get real with yourself. So that storm window is open because, guys, and it should be closed according to the Piper checklist. It is too darn hot in the winter, in the summer out here in the traffic pattern. Even at 4,500 where I was gonna climb, I had no intentions of closing that window. I need oxygen. Like, it is so hot in that plane with that storm window closed. It's funny because I told my CFI for private, I'm like, I am not closing this window. No way. And he was always like, and anything like this, like, you know, assertive, like, moment I had where I'm like, I'm not doing it by the book. He was like, well, I had one student that was using his VFR sectional with the window open, and the entire sectional was sucked out of the storm window. Yo, the visuals of that had me cracking up. I was like, stop it. The whole sectional got sucked out. And I know my CFI was laughing at him because, yeah. He sometimes, he would look at me during my training when I was doing something stupid and just like with a face like, what the fuck is she doing? Like, but also amused at the same time by whatever I was doing. I love my CFI for my private. He has a very special place in my heart. I will always have his voice in my head whenever I am in certain phases of flight, like landing especially. Always. Very special place in my heart. So yeah, one exciting lap around the pattern. There was a guy ahead of me or a gal ahead of me, and I was the second to land, and I'm like, oh, this is awesome because I get to fly out at least to the shore. So desperate to stay in the air. I think I was a bird in a past life because once I'm in the air, it's just like, I'm not a big fan of all the stuff that I showed you guys, like turning the plane on, the run up and all this stuff, because there's so many points along the way where you'll go like, oh no, I can't fly because of this or that, or there's a big mag drop. A couple of times, like maybe 3 times, and all the 134.5 hours that I have, a couple of times I did have a big old mag drop, and I told ground I got a taxi back. I'm not, even as much as I want to fly, I will not take off with a big mag drop. Obviously, like, it's common sense, but like even after, you know, I can clear it out, but I'd rather not see a big mag drop at all. Especially if it's just for training, if it's just for fun. Like, it's not like I'm medevacing somebody's, you know, kidneys on ice. Like, I don't, you know, if I don't need to fly and I see a big mag drop, instead of, you know, sitting there clearing out the spark plugs, I'd rather just taxi back and get it looked at. So, all right, so I think I'm on base, turning the final. Guys, this is not my proudest landing. Yeah, I had to suck up some pride to show you this. Like, I landed like a freaking brick. Instead of landing like butter, I landed like frozen butter. I came in low. You see, I came in low. You don't even need to see the Vazzy or Poppy lights to see that I came in very low. I was 3 in the red, 1 in the white. I'm like, it's okay. That's fine. Ugh. No, not nice. I landed on the threshold bars. It's just, and then I landed like a thud. It was one of those landings where I'm like, no, I have to go, like, not go around, but I have to stay in the pattern a little while, prove to myself that I can land like butter, like a feather. But then it's like, am I really going to spend money on repairing my ego right now, or am I going to do the prudent thing and go taxi back and save money for the cross country that I'm going to do? Was supposed to do today. Yeah, I'm going to save money and go back and be smart. Ugh, I know it's coming, so I'm like cringing already. Ugh. The worst. Like a boom, boom type of land. I think I landed on all 3 at once. It was just, ugh. Well, leave bad landings in the past. That's what my CFI always used to tell me, because I would get so analytical and obsessed over a bad landing and be like, that was awful. One time, watch this. Watch, you ready? You ready? Watch this. You don't stop flying that plane. I think I stopped flying the plane for a second. You don't stop flying till you're back at the hangar. And I forgot that wisdom. Yeah. Anyway, getting back on ground. The ground controller was the guy from Brooklyn. Hey, Brooklyn. And I love when he's on the comms, because then I can let a little bit of my New York come out when I talk. I don't have that thick New York accent at all, but I definitely am a New Yorker. You can hear it, and I could just like let it go when I talk to him. I don't have to sound so civilized like I do when I talk to you know everybody else. All right, back on ground. Gonna go back home. All right, talk to you later. Bye.